The door slammed shut behind me, hard, violent, final. No wind, no hands, just the sound of old wood screaming like it had waited years to do that one thing. My phone lost signal instantly. The lights flickered once, twice, then stayed on. And from upstairs, clear as a whisper breathed directly into my ear, I heard my sister say my name. My name is Mara. I'm not brave. I'm just the last person still looking. Most people think ghosts haunt houses. They're wrong. In Briarwood, the house is the ghost. It doesn't want your soul. It wants your seat at the dinner table. My sister, Eliza, took a job here 6 months ago and vanished. Everyone in town pretended Briarwood House, a rotting estate at the edge of town, didn't exist. Eliza lasted 4 days as a caretaker here. Her last voicemail was strange. Calm. Too calm. She said, "The house keeps asking me to stay." Tonight, after months of dead ends, an anonymous letter led me here. No signature, just an address, and a single line written like a warning. It doesn't like witnesses. The air inside felt thick, like breathing through fabric soaked in cold water. Every step echoed wrong, delayed, as if the house was repeating me for practice. A cold, unseen presence seemed to watch my every move. I passed a grandfather clock in the foyer that ticked backwards, its hands spinning counterclockwise with a deliberate, mocking rhythm. Further in, a tall, ornate mirror stood by the staircase. I glanced into it and my blood ran cold. It didn't reflect me at all, just an empty, dusty hallway where I should have been standing. From the ceiling came footsteps, slow, deliberate, always above me. I tried to call out, to scream Eliza's name, but my throat felt constricted, like the house itself was squeezing the air from my lungs. The wallpaper seemed to ripple and shift, the floral patterns twisting into grotesque, almost faces in my peripheral vision. I knew with a primal certainty that this wasn't just an old abandoned house. It was alive, and it was playing with me. I pressed on, my heart hammering against my ribs, each thud amplified by the oppressive silence. I had to find her. I pushed through a heavy, unlatched door and found myself in the dining room. A long, dust-shrouded table sat at the center, set for a morbid feast of shadows. And there, on one of the chairs, was Eliza's backpack. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside, her notebook was filled with the same sentence written over and over until the pages tore, gouged deep by her pen. The house doesn't forget. The house doesn't forget. The house doesn't forget. Suddenly, the antique radio in the corner sputtered to life. Static gave way to a sound that froze the marrow in my bones. It was a woman sobbing, a raw, desperate sound of pure grief. It sounded exactly like Eliza, my sister. Not a ghost, not a memory, but her voice, trapped, crying out for help. The realization hit me like a physical blow. She wasn't gone. She was still here, trapped, and the house was taunting me with her agony. Adrenaline coursing, I scrambled upstairs following the lingering echo of her cries. I burst into what must have been her room. The air was colder here, heavy with despair. On the wall, carved deep into the plaster, were dozens of dates and names of missing people, dates stretching back decades, and at the bottom, gouged out recently, was my sister's name, Eliza. My breath hitched, and beneath it, fresh, bleeding into the dust, was mine, Mara. That's when I realized something worse than haunting. This house didn't kill people, it kept them, and it had already decided I belonged. The doors downstairs began locking one after another, the thuds reverberating through the floorboards. The walls around me seemed to stretch, the room elongating, distorting. Hallways bent at impossible angles as I ran desperate into the deepest part of the house. I stumbled down a flight of narrow, rotting stairs into the pitch-black basement. I flipped on my phone's flashlight, its beam shaking uncontrollably. And then I found them. Not bodies, but reflections, faces, people frozen within the very walls, their features pressed beneath peeling wallpaper, their eyes hollow, pleading. They were alive, yet trapped, part of the house itself. Eliza was there too, older, gaunt. Her reflection shimmering in the wall opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Instead, I felt her words in my mind. Don't leave me. The house feeds on absence. Then a voice, deep and resonant, not in sound but in certainty, shaking me to my core, said, "One stays, one leaves. Balance must be kept." I had a choice, escape or become another face on the wallpaper. I chose to leave. I scrambled through a tight, grimy coal chute, clawing my way out into the blessed night air. The front door of Briarwood House opened effortlessly behind me, like it had been waiting for my decision. I didn't look back. I ran until my lungs burned, until the house was just a distant, dark silhouette against the moon. Weeks later, I was safe. Or so I thought. My apartment was normal. My life, slowly, was returning to normal. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, splashing cool water on my face. I looked up, and my heart stopped. In the reflection, my apartment was perfect, clean, modern, familiar. But when I looked over my shoulder at the actual room behind me, the pristine tiles of my bathroom wall were beginning to peel, revealing rotting Victorian wallpaper underneath. The sleek porcelain sink was turning into dark, ancient wood. My reflection didn't move. It just watched me with a cold, predatory smile. It touched the glass from the inside, its fingers pressing against the surface, and spoke with my voice, calm and chillingly assured. "You didn't leave the house, Mara. You just let the house leave as you." The reflection turned and walked out of the bathroom, into my life, into my apartment, leaving me screaming silently behind the glass, just another face pressed beneath the wallpaper. The house doesn't forget, it just trades, and sometimes the scariest prison is the one you carry inside you.